So it's 2003 and Pixar has just been dropping heat left and right. They gave us A Bug's Life, they gave us Toy Story, and the entire world is just sitting here asking, what's next? And we could not have possibly been prepared for the absolute banger that was Finding Nemo. There was so many quotable moments and life lessons.
Fish are friends, not food.
Except that fish. Finding Nemo was firing on all cylinders. Beautiful music, amazing artwork, solid comedy. So the video game has to be amazing, right? Right? Traveler's Tales, what have you done? So the game starts out on an epic battlefield, and we have Nemo risking his own life swimming through 3 separate bubble rings in order to catch up with Papa Marlin. Now, if you remember in my Cat in the Hat video, I said there was nothing more nightmare-inducing than PS2 humans.
Well, that was before I saw PS2 fish.
So before we make our way to school, Marlin does what any good father would do and passes down some wisdom that has moved from generation to generation.
Follow me, and remember you can speed up by pressing the move button.
Now, if you're anything like me, you're probably wondering,
What button is the move button?
and to that, Pixar says,
Figure it out, you f***ing scrub.
So after hours and hours of painstaking research, I use the move button to start swimming faster through the first of many forward-facing camera segments. These segments don't allow you to backtrack either, so if you're a completionist, do not miss any rings, because you will have to restart the level in its entirety to grab the one ring you missed. And with that, we are faced with our very first conflict.
Hi, I'm Tad. I'm obnoxious.
Shut up.
So it turns out Pearl's been taken into enemy territory, and the only one that can save her is Nemo. Although, I'm pretty sure Nemo and Jason Statham vowed to retire after that last job. After several shootouts and one explosion, we find Pearl in a cave who is clearly overwhelmed with excitement from Nemo's immaculate riz. Once we return Pearl to her friends, she drops an actual pearl for Nemo to have. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't see any pockets on Pearl. Well, Nemo's freaky ass grabs that pearl with zero hesitation and uses it to get past the clam blocking our path. We then find ourselves blocked by a massive rock slide that almost took the lives of our new friends. No, I'm serious. They literally tell you,
Whoa, those rocks almost fell on us.
oh, but who hasn't been there? I mean, come on. When you're almost turned into a pancake, but you're just a chill guy. So now, it's up to Nemo to clear the path so we can get to school. Because Nemo wouldn't be caught dead swimming around these rocks. Nah, Nemo's a real man's man, and everyone knows a man would clear these rocks with their face. Now it's time to race our slow-ass friends to school in the most jarring, disorienting gaming section ever created. The reverse camera angle race.
Hey Nemo, I bet you didn't know that you can knock bubbles into other creatures and then dart into them like you did those rocks.
Next, Marlin gives us 2 new game mechanics, which are Super Saiyan Anemone Whirlwind and using Krill to defend yourself. Now here's the problem with this. You never once need to use the Anemone Whirlwind. I'm serious, there's never one moment throughout the entire game where it's necessary to use this ability. In fact, you're probably going to forget it's even a thing. I know I did. The Krill are almost a good mechanic. The problem is 1 Krill is the same value as 5 Krill. Because in this game, it's a one-hit kill unless you have Krill, which kind of act like the Aku mask from Crash Bandicoot. The difference here is the more Krill you have, the more hits you can take, but as I said, the value of 5 Krill is the same as 1, so you will need to collect at least 6 Krill to gain more defense. But Nick, this is a kid's game. Do you even need the defense?
Just you wait.
So after some light obstacles, we meet PS2 Mr. Ray. Wait a second. And what were you up to before class, buddy? Puffing on that magic dragon? You see, this is what Marlin was talking about. We spend our entire adult life raising this innocent, sweet little boy just to have Snoop Seahorse over here show up and ruin it in one afternoon. So now we're faced with another forward-facing camera section, except this time we have obstacles in our way. There are tons of clams and knobslobber fish in our way. And if you remember Marlin giving us advice earlier...
Remember, you can speed up by pressing the move button.
Yeah, don't do that. See, if you just spam the move button, you are going to get hit. This is where the krill are almost necessary, especially in later levels, because this is just a taste. Also, if you're trying to get all these bubble rings, good luck, because they come at you quick and there is no way to backtrack unless you die. But wait a second, this is a fun, light-hearted kids game. You're not actually going to die in this game. Never mind. Okay, I just need to take a second and appreciate the absolute masterpiece playing in the background of this level. We're now introduced to the game's most
Bodacious mechanic.
which is bouncing on objects that are frankly
Thicker than a snicker.
Anyway, Nemo's burnout friends convince us to go exploring in these caves and we get a little lost. We gotta find the correct cave to progress through to the next section, but Pixar pulled this big old fast one on us. That's right, sometimes you need to go through the cave you just came out of to progress forward and use a different cave to backtrack, because Pixar is just fun like that. We finally make it out of the caves, only to discover that Mr. Ray's leaving us behind? Most of us are super concerned about that. Well, except Pearl.
Tonight's the night.
In order to catch up with Mr. Ray, we must utilize the final addition to the forward-facing camera sections. Speed rings. If we miss too many speed rings, we'll fail and have to restart this section. And I'll tell you right now, you're probably gonna miss some collectible rings and wish you had 37 krill, because these sections going forward are some of the most brutal portions of the entire game. The tone of the game immediately changes, like drastically. At this point in the movie, the drop-off was more of a mystical mystery that gave you a sense of uncertainty, whereas in the game version, the obstacles have been kicked to 11 and the music sets the tone of straight panic mode. We must be foreshadowing something. See, in the film, Nemo goes to get a handful of that
Sweet, savory ass.
Oh my God!
to prove to his father that he is not as helpless as he makes him out to be. But in the game, I think he was running for his life. At this point, Nemo really only has one thing on his mind, and that is getting a finful of some
Sweet, bodacious ass.
This part is annoying because there's like a current that pushes you from one side to the other, and its only purpose is to push you away from the collectible rings, because f*** you. However, it turns out that
Perfect, juicy ass.
was part of a sting operation, and now Nemo's running for his little life in one of the most traumatic experiences I ever had as a child. I mean, just look at this diver. Hi, I'm Nick the Old Soul, and if you played the Finding Nemo game as a child, you might be entitled to compensation. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I hate this level. So we're now playing as Marlin, who moves easily twice the speed that Nemo does. In fact, he moves so fast that the camera cannot keep up with his pace. You actually cannot see enemies until it's too late. No, I died a lot. And like, I died in spots where I knew the enemy was going to be. Because not only are there an insane amount of obstacles that blend in with the environment, there's a current that moves you without even touching the controller. The only logical course of action is to hug the wall and avoid the center. Problem solved. Except they thought you'd do that and strategically placed enemies on or near the wall. And the current makes you move even faster, so you cannot stop in time to avoid the enemy. Nah. Let me catch one of these game designers on the street.
It's on site.
So we finally meet Dory, and as the level's title suggests, we catch Dory. The level itself is pretty straightforward, but right at the end of this level, we are given the most memorable experience that this game has to offer. And that is Discount Bruce.
Hello.
Hello?
This is another level that just shows the devs absolutely hate children and long for their pain and suffering, because we now play as Dory and we have to chase Bruce with another speed ring section, except this time there is this purple gas with the most unforgiving hitbox I have ever seen, and the speed rings are almost strategically placed right in front of the gas, to the point where you almost have to miss some of them on purpose. Otherwise...
Smoke weed every day.
Now, what I think happened with the Bruce movie clip is his voice probably wasn't mixed yet, as the game came out before the film, so that's why it sounds a little thin and not as full as the movie version. I also understand that movie games always have different voice actors and the quality decrease is to be expected. I know this, but what they did to video game Bruce should be a war crime.
No, she'll be all right. But any more than 3 times on each balloon and we're all gonna regret it.
Like, tell me you forgot to hire a voice actor and grabbed the first intern you could find without telling me. Well, now it's time to run from Bruce in one of the most horrifying reverse camera sections I have ever seen. But I actually mean that in a good way. They did a great job of making it feel like a bloodthirsty shark was chasing after you. Maybe this game's actually turning around. It's gonna get so much worse, isn't it? That's right, the game has been saving the biggest middle finger for last. Something so diabolical, so unnecessarily hard that my Twitch chat has not let me live this down for 2 months. I'm looking at you, Lady Emma. Yup, I'm talking about slide puzzles. Listen, I don't want to hear it. If you haven't done these things yourself, then you have no idea how insane these dang things are. And from this point on, the game is full of them. This is a small one, and it took me like 30 minutes to finish when I played this. And that's just this one. We cut back to Nemo with absolutely zero context and have to find all the other fish in the fish tank. Simple enough. We have one in an anemone, another in a chest, one hidden in Mount Wanahakalugi. Jacques won't appear unless you knock these 3 melons down for some reason. The starfish is easy to miss, but can be found hanging out on the tank wall. And Flo... well, Flo is found by completing another goddamn slide puzzle. This game. Catching back up with Dory and Marlin, we are in an area that was supposed to be dark, eerie, and spooky, but honestly, it's just plain and boring. The one way to ensure you don't die in this game is to move slow, and this level throws all that out the window because Dory has a very tight window to reach certain checkpoints, or she will forget what's going on and we will fail the level. The second part of this level involves a maze that actually uses a new mechanic that's a great idea. They just executed it poorly. In order to get through these pipes, you must switch between Dory and Marlin to make our way to the end. The problem is the only way to switch between characters is to swim all the way back to where you left the previous character and press the action button. The backtracking is horrendous, especially if you don't know where to go. You can go all the way to the end of the maze with one character, just to have to go all the way back to the beginning and switch characters. Of course, for the third goddamn level in a row, there is a piece of shit slide puzzle. I swear on all that is good in this world, let me catch the who designed these slide puzzles. Here we are with another chase level. Just run like hell and remember, P. Sherman 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney. Well, now it's time for Nemo to join a fish cult. Well, assuming he can pass all the tests, which involves plugging up some leaks in the fish tank, and I'm pretty sure he has to stick a finger in the starfish.
Yeah.
Honestly, this level's a nice break. Just plugging up some leaks, no crazy enemies. Wait a second. The very end of this level has the worst slide puzzle in the main story. This thing literally took me almost an hour to finish, and I'm about to go into my crash out era. Somebody created this puzzle, and if for some reason you end up watching this video, I don't know who you are. I don't know where you live, but you better hope it stays that way. I hope your pillow never has a cool side. I hope your favorite snacks get discontinued. I actually really enjoyed the jellyfish race. I think they did a great job of capturing the same energy the film had. Marlin is slower than Dory, so the only way to win is to bounce off the jellyfish heads for a big boost in speed. All good things must come to an end though, because this goddamn bouncing portion is brutal. Now we have enemies bouncing with you, and their AI is unfair. I swear they know exactly where you are trying to go. I'm actually trying to get past this section, and I legit can't do it. Also, you can't move diagonally. No, it's straight tank controls, and you will get stuck more times than not. Alright, it's time for Nemo to overcome his adversity by training with Gil. Wait a second. Is that actually Willem Dafoe? No, it is Willem Dafoe.
Try to keep up with me and do what I do.
You know, I'm something of a scientist myself.
Well, the devs decided that slide puzzles just weren't punishing enough to us millennial youths, and they added the most side questy, waste of time task I have ever seen. So they want you to hit the Luxo ball through these blue rings, and there's a bunch of them. And I'm sure you're thinking, oh, that's actually cool, they give you some side questy stuff to do. Nah, they expect you to take this ball from one side of the map to the other side of the map and find 30 blue rings across everything. And guess what? There's some obstacles in your way. And if the ball touches one of these obstacles, it will pop. And then you need to go all the way back to the beginning area, grab the ball, and take it all the way back. And no, you cannot progress until you've gotten all 30 rings. The EAC section is probably my favorite section of the movie, and to be honest, the game actually didn't disappoint. I mean, for what it is, it's really good. Very simple vibes, just find Dory before you run out of time, bounce on some sea turtles, and do a little race. It was cool. And this is another level where the music just deserves a shout out. It really gives Kingdom Hearts 1 vibes for me.
You ready, Sharkbait? I chose my path, you chose the way of the hero. And they found you amusing for a while. The people of this city, But the one thing they love more than a hero is to see a hero fail.
So I was actually excited to play this level because I wanted to see how they were going to have Nemo traverse through the filter system, but instead of the epic way the film had Nemo risking his very life for the fish cult, all we do is go through the tedious task of collecting red rocks and just dropping them into the filter system. Honestly, every young man in 2003 probably experienced blue balls for the first time in this very moment right here. Also, I can't believe I didn't notice this before, but both Nemo and Marlin have this like dark gas trailing them wherever they go. What even is this? Sorry, I couldn't resist. The whale chase was probably my favorite chase section because the level is so plain. You'd think it'd be a dull chase, but they do this thing with the whale where he almost like disappears for several moments, giving him this like phantom energy. I can't believe I'm saying this, but good job, Pixar. Well, Nemo finally makes his great escape, and I'm pretty confident he is swimming around in water. Pretty basic level. I mean, you just avoid some obstacles, fight some currents, and then, just as Gil said,
In spite of everything you've done for them, eventually they will hate you. Why bother?
oh, and all drains lead to the ocean. And finally, we reach the very last level, which was kind of underwhelming. But hey, what are you gonna do? Basically, Nemo swims around the fishing net looking for Dory, and with our help, she tells the fish to swim down until we make our glorious escape. And with that, we reach the end of a game I'm fairly confident none of you saw as children. Okay, this has to be one of the worst games I've ever played. The movie tried to do a solid one-to-one remake to the film, and let's just say it didn't translate well. It was almost as if the game spent too much focus trying to be like the movie that we didn't really get a lot of video game. You know, like there's not a lot of combat, there's no boss fights, it's mostly here's the movie, here's a slide puzzle, or push this button. It was almost like a child was trying to explain the plot of Finding Nemo to you. And honestly, I think I aged 10 years playing this game, but I did learn a few things. Never trust Pearl. It clearly isn't difficult to get a voice acting gig for movie games, and 2003 was not Willem Dafoe's year. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm honestly having a blast making these videos for you guys. If you liked it, leave a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, maybe even click that bell, and then leave a comment and let me know what game I should do next. I'll see you guys in the next video.